in my life. On TV, yes. Newspapers, yes. And all that other stuff. But to come across the street and talk to people, or even next door to talk to people, I haven't seen this brother ever. The people who are doing the construction, and my count is 21 months. You'll let me know if I'm wrong, or how long it's been abandoned. I'm calling it abandoned construction. And I've emailed a lot of people from the city, and they always gave me a date that it'll be done this day, it'll be done that day. But next door to us is the people who actually are doing the construction. Those are my next door neighbors. That's how I know what's going on. They haven't been there for 21 months.
Not letting them get away with anything. We're KBLA, Talk 1580.
This November, you'll decide who leads California. So shouldn't you hear directly from the people asking for your vote? Join us for California Voices, a political town hall and ballot forum, Saturday, October 3rd, 2026. Meet candidates running for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and other major statewide and local offices, including mayor of Los Angeles, city attorney, and LA County sheriff. Get clear, nonpartisan breakdowns of the propositions on your November ballot, both sides, no spin. And ask your questions directly, in real conversation, face to face. California Voices is brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the Empowerment Congress, giving you the information you need before you vote. Mark your calendar, Saturday, October 3rd, 2026, California Voices. Follow KBLA 1580 for details and download the KBLA 1580 app. Your vote, your voice. Be there.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Wally drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We're in the Politics of Our Faith on Wealthy Wednesdays with Dr. Todd Yeary, Esquire, 1 foot in the courtroom. He is a lawyer, and 1 foot in the pulpit. He is a preacher. Every Sunday morning, Dr. Yeary's social justice work includes having served on the national board of the National Action Network from 2015 to 2021. That's the organization run by Reverend Al Sharpton and founded by him as well as working with the late Reverend Jesse Jackson, my dad, International Human Rights and Civil Rights Organization, the Rainbow Push Coalition. Dr. Yeary, welcome forward to the show.
Masterful opening commentary, my brother. You've laid it all out there. We can take it early out. Great to see you. 417. Let's go eat.
I really appreciate that, but I'm not going to let you off that easy, Doc. From your perspective, Doc, what did last night's election say about the Democratic Party?
Well, it said to the Democratic Party what it's always taught us about politics. Yeah. That you don't come away with just kind of one overarching controlling theme that's going to carry or hold sway across all 50 states, across all types of elections. We've got to be more nuanced and more sophisticated, and we have to be more credible, quite honestly, to recognize that it is disingenuous to say you're going to have a single policy message as a one-size-fits-all and expect that everybody's going to support you in that effort. You have to be more intentional. You have to be more persistent. You have to be, quite honestly, more willing to take on the vulnerability of hearing that while there are a lot of voices in the Democratic Party, we don't always carry around the same agenda in our pockets. And we've got to be willing to have that conversation and then bring credible candidates, not just incredible candidates, but credible candidates to the conversation in the party.
Dr. Yeary, so this idea that the Democratic Socialists of America are taking over the Democratic Party, that's not the message from last night's election campaigns.
I don't even know what that means. Right. I'm like, huh? Listen, I often say this, and I hold to it, especially now. If you remember, let's go back to our early days of grade school when we were learning how to alphabetize words. Right. So you did them in the sequence they fall of the 26 letters of the alphabet. Then you move to the second letter, and then you move to the third letter. All right. Using that as a frame, I think it is important. The word what, WHAT, comes before the word who, WHO, in the dictionary and in politics. We keep trying to put who conversations in what places.
That's
And
all
we
right
don't
now.
we don't get to the substance of what are we talking about in the first place. You want me to pick a person before I am sure that that person has picked my issue. And so if we don't have, I think the Democratic Party is learning, you got to have what conversations, and then let the people decide who is going to be the standard bearer for their particular issue in that context, whether it's for House of Representatives, United States Senate, statewide races for governor. Those don't carry just a single standard litmus test that you then use as a cookie cutter across the country. That's lazy politics. If we're going to have substantive political conversations, we've got to meet people where they are, figuratively and literally, and then let that inform how we build a partnership around changing the agenda and the platform so that the best of all of us gets included in the recipe.
You're going to hear that one again, and you're not going to get any credit for it. So let's give you your credit right now. The who does not come before the what. The what conversation comes first, and then we will determine the who. So this conversation starts out here on KBLA Talk 1580. Dr. Todd Yeary said we must put the what the party stands for before the who, and then we will identify the what with the who we're going to support to accomplish the what. Now, by the time you hear that again, will be a great philosopher. Once said, the who comes after the what. By the time I deliver it, it's going to be Jesse Jackson Jr. has always.
That's right. That's right. That's
so
right.
What must come before the who.
Look, that's why I put it out that way, because I knew that's how you were feeling. See, my I have to use my discernment. Listen, here's what it is. It's not what the party is not a thinking thing of its own. So this isn't about what the party thinks. It's what the people who identify as this particular political frame. And there's just two basic distinctions between what it means to be a Republican versus a Democrat. Largely, historically, it has been Democrats view the federal government as a partner and a resource to help make sure people have what they need. Republicans think that small government is better, and therefore there should be more obligation placed on individuals to be able to carry the weight of whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish, kind of the pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of reality. Big taxation versus small taxation. So there's some pretty clear distinctions, right? But then the next level is, once we get there, what do you do with public money? This is the simplest thing about what the politics game is all about. Municipalities have budgets. States have budgets. Counties have budgets. The United States government has a budget. Those are public dollars that are leveraged to address private concerns. What private concerns get addressed because there's not enough public money to go around to address all of them. So somebody's going to get left out. Who gets left out ultimately comes down, many instances, to who is playing. Now, who's participating in the process, who's voting, where are they coming from? They're looking at that analysis, but also who is engaged in the supporting of the electoral process by supporting candidates. What does that look like? We got to remember this game is still monopoly, but this is not play money that we're working with. These are public dollars that come out of people's pockets. And once they are taken out of your pocket and you never see them again, the last time I heard what that was, we called that theft. Remember, I got one foot in the courtroom. So if somebody's only taking from you but not giving back to you, that's not an exchange. That's a stick up. And we got to have that kind of a conversation.
Dr. Uri, I appreciate that, and we're going to work with that right here on this program in the future. What does last night's elections say about control of Congress? Is it a foregone conclusion that Democrats will regain control of Congress? Even though, I must be clear, last night's struggle was an inter-party struggle over the direction of the party between candidates. We still have to fight the Republican in November. No one should lose sight of that. But is it a foregone conclusion that Hakeem Jeffries will be Speaker of the House, or is it not necessarily a foregone conclusion?
It's not a foregone conclusion that Leader Jeffries becomes the Speaker of the House, even if the Democrats do take the House.
He does have a mountain to climb within the Democratic Party if Democrats take control of the Congress.
Yeah, I mean, depending on which new faces show up,
yeah,
that's not necessarily a given that he gets to 218 to become the Speaker. So it's not that you get the majority of your party. You've got to get 218 votes. Got to figure it out. And if that then ends up leaning that you need some Republican votes, he's not going to get those. I mean, it'll be a replay of what we saw the last time at the, this, what goes around comes around. This is really about, here's how you know who's going to take the House is let's look at the various races. Let's look at the voter turnout. Let's look at what's different about the field in which folks have to play. Gerrymandering is a big deal. And then we got to figure out what does the on the ground mobilization look like once we get closer to the early voting windows and actual election day, that first Tuesday in November.
Here's my prediction, however, that if in fact, for whatever it's worth, I know how we feel right now, but if in fact Hakeem Jeffries is not the Speaker and Democrats regain control, how we feel today won't necessarily be how we feel if that happens. We're going to be some kind of mad that the first Negro who could have been Speaker of the House in the history of the United States ain't. And that we can have an African-American president of the United States, an African-American woman to be vice president of the United States, but we still can't have a Speaker of the People's House or the president of a Senate in the United States. I think the consequences of that are the kind of fodder that Republicans will use to continue to convince Black men in the Democratic Party that there's no room for them in the Democratic Party. Now, don't get me wrong. Hakeem Jeffries has a major mountain that he still needs to climb. The way money is being spent in these primaries, the millions of dollars that are coming in from the American Israeli Political Action Committee into districts from the Voting Rights Act of 1965, determining Black leadership in this country in these congressional districts on a foreign policy issue has consequences. But it is not a foregone conclusion that this fight ends in the November election. Dr. Uri?
Well, it doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is because any bill that has an expenditure of public dollars attached to it originates in the House. They got to figure that out, right? All of the money conversations start with the 435. So to have that kind of institutional influence over the flow of public dollars is a big deal. That means that we have to add to the what conversation for whomever we're voting for. Listen, y'all, when you win your election and you get to go to DC, one of the first things you have to do is organize the Congress, how that particular congressional session is going to run. And it starts with who's going to lead. And once you decide who's going to lead, who's going to be the leader, gets to decide committee assignments, gets to decide a number, who's going to hold gavels, who's going to be in charge of the major subject matter and policy areas that affect what is. We've got to be that intentional and that meticulous. We got to get out of this emotional politicking. This isn't about how I feel. I feel the way I feel, and it's not going to change anytime soon. But we've got to be so focused that we don't get hustled in this thing, make a short-term decision trying to get long-term benefit. That's called insanity.
I absolutely agree. And one of the great challenges that we're going to have, which we've heard from Dr. Yeary, we've heard it from Barbara Arnwine as well, we have to register, vote, and be prepared to engage, not just in the short run, casting a ballot or casting a vote, but in the long run. That is staying engaged, staying vigilant, staying committed, staying focused, just like right here at KBLA Talk 1580. Tavis Smiley and the station has been staying engaged with the Crenshaw corridor, and as a result of staying engaged, things are changing. Things are happening. They are assuming that we are asleep. And when we wake up and take the mantle of our struggle forward, things happen for the best of us. When we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580, our regular contributor, Dr. Todd Yeary Esquire. The politics of our faith, more right here on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is criticizing the rise of democratic socialism following Wisconsin's primary, calling the movement essentially communist.
And I think it's very, very dangerous.
DeSantis also argued police, not social workers, should respond to crimes like home break-ins. He renewed his criticism of Dr. Anthony Fauci over the COVID response while calling Florida a refuge of sanity. A new poll shows Black Maryland Governor Wes Moore with a wide lead in his re-election bid. The Maryland Now survey has Moore ahead of Republican Dan Cox by 27 points with 58% support. It also shows 56% of voters approve of Moore's job performance. And Russell Westbrook is retiring after 18 NBA seasons. The 2017 league MVP announced the decision Wednesday in a social media video narrated by Michael B. Jordan. Westbrook spent most of his career with Oklahoma City before playing for 6 other teams. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers are about to change ownership again. NBA sources are reporting that Lakers owner Mark Walter, who bought the franchise last year for $10 billion, is selling it to a couple of very rich businessmen, Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. Key players in the NBA's potential expansion into Las Vegas have agreed to pay Walter $12 billion for the Lakers. Walter is the majority owner of the Dodgers, but it appears he's ending his relationship with the Lakers after just 1 year. More details to come on this surprising development. The NFL is considering a suspension for Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua at the start of the regular season. The league is reviewing whether Nacua has violated the league's code of conduct policy. Nacua, who led the NFL in receptions last season, is facing a civil lawsuit from a woman accusing him of assault and anti-Semitic comments. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Whoa, whoa.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the voice of reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580. Your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
What's good, KBLA delegation? I am Miles Lowe, and I'm excited to be joining the weekend lineup right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Join me every Saturday at 12 noon for the Do Better Show, where we get into the world of tech, AI, the creator economy, navigating your mental health through it all, and have conversations with founders to find out how real people are making real money right now. It's not a course, not a subscription. Class is in session every weekend, live on the air. If you knew better, you do better, right? So let's make a better you. The Do Better Show, every Saturday, 12 noon, and replaying again at 7 p.m. right here on Unapologetically Progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Girl, it's back. We've been waiting. I love that honey pepper pimento sandwich.
And that pineapple dragon fruit and Sprite is everything. It's got that razzle dazzle that makes you stop and say, okay, wait a minute.
I love the creaminess of the pimento cheese. It's savory, it's bold, it's flavorful.
Our faves are back. High five, girl.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Ready for a weekend reset? Walk it out with me, Gina A. Towns, the artist formerly known as Gina Darby, on Reflectivity Beyond Black and White, as we seek peace, understanding, and healing beyond surface level perspectives, where reflectivity becomes our inner power and resilience to transform our lives and our communities no matter what. Meet me and my crazy cool guests. Join the Reflectivity family movement as we make sense of it all. Every bit, every morsel. We're going to nourish the mind, body, and soul unapologetically right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Every Saturday, 2 and 8 p.m. on the West Coast, 4 and 10 in the Midwest, and 5 and 11 on the East Coast. It's time for Reflectivity Beyond Black and White. It's not only hot, it's sizzling, and we're cooking.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580s. It's Wealthy Wednesdays, and we're in the politics of our faith with Reverend S. Todd Yeary, principal of the Yeary Firm. Dr. Yeary is a civil rights attorney and public policy advocate. He holds a deep belief that honest dialogue creates opportunities to form strategic partnerships that strengthen families and communities. Dr. Yuri, welcome forward to the politics of our faith.
Always good to be with you. You gotta be on your toes when I come to talk to you on Wednesday.
There's no doubt about it. I'm on my toes when I'm talking to you. Dr. Yuri, what does yesterday's election say about the mood of the country?
Well, the mood of the country is there's a lot of, I think, pain, frustration, disillusionment, even anger. And that a lot of it is tied to those areas that are often commonly felt amongst the masses. On one hand, you have an administration that points to what the stock market's doing and think that the administration thinks that somehow or other that's going to comfort people who have to work jobs for which there is no 401k benefit. And so the stock market doing well doesn't address the immediate need of food, clothing, shelter. The other piece is the tone deafness that has seemingly become permanent, that the cries of the people who are most vulnerable are not just being ignored. They are really intentionally being squelched. And we see it in a number of ways, not just in terms of how it plays out with, say, the policy issues around immigration and the use of ICE and how ICE is sending these untrained militia people with federal enforcement of power into our communities. But even more granular than that, when the word affordability, when the president says, I never heard of such a word, I take that at face value. That's called confession. He is confessing that he is clueless, which means he cannot relate to what many people are suffering across the country, whether they be blue or red. Poverty is a condition. It's not a color. It's not a party affiliation. We've got to have that kind of an ongoing conversation. And this is the time where the people who are experiencing the pain and dealing with the frustration have to make sure that they are not ignored. We've got to keep our voices lifted and loud.
I'm deeply moved by that because there was a time in my lifetime when the stock market itself was connected to people to some degree at the bottom, people who were struggling in our caste system and in our class system. You could actually measure, in some measure, how the stock market was doing against how people were actually feeling. But you're suggesting now that there is a disconnect between the growth of the stock market and the reality of how every average, ordinary American truly feels about their economic well-being.
Yeah, I mean, let's just use the word growth, right? This president likes to talk about the stock market being in record territory. Guess what's not in record territory? Wages. Folks who have to work at an hourly rate, still struggling to get to a living wage. Corporations' bottom lines growing exponentially. The wealth gap grew wider during COVID than it was before COVID even hit. And so when we start looking at those kinds of data points, we recognize that this disconnect is not new. It's been there actually for several presidencies now. And as we continue to experience the fallout, gas prices just way out of range, subject to the whims of an administration that can't quite figure out why did we pick a fight with somebody that we didn't need to fight with anyway, even though we don't like them. We decided we wanted to be the bully on the playground, and now we found out that typically the bully on the playground doesn't find many allies, and when he gets strung out into a fight that he shouldn't be in at all, he doesn't lose because he succumbs to the strength necessarily of the one he's bullying, but he succumbs to the exhaustion because he miscalculated how much effort would be required to win this battle. This government is collapsing under exhaustion. But by the time it finally falls out and you end up having to perform emergency medical assistance techniques on this administration, the harm to the rest of us will be semi-permanent, if not permanent altogether. Because he's not coming for his friends. He's not coming for those who made a whole lot of money behind crypto and all that other kind of stuff. You know, their balance sheets are looking pretty good. But for the rest of us who are still looking at astronomical credit card interest rates trying to take care of essential bills because I don't have enough payday resilience to be able to outlast the month. Those are the realities. And it's not just for the extremely poor. This is the working poor. And there are working poor people who make upwards of 6 figures in the United States. That's a whole problem. And the wealth inequality, the wage inequality is a conversation that folks on either side of the aisle just don't seem to want to have today.
Dr. Year, we have about 3 minutes before we come forward. And you piqued so much interest in my mind and in my thinking in this moment. And I want to pivot just for a moment to money and politics. Not only are the campaigns becoming expensive for the money that candidates have to raise, there's this unanticipated money that comes in from the outside that helps move the scale of voting and messaging in the political campaigns. But there's something we often don't talk about. You're a criminal defense lawyer. These same members of Congress will now go to Congress and state legislatures, and who gets punished for crimes? Those laws will be reflected in who paid the piper. That is, we'll see more of us being punished, criminalized for errors that we make in our lives or even errors of judgment. But those who have paid the piper, the crypto, the people at the top of the scale, the billionaires, the people who one might consider to be a different kind of untouchable, that the laws themselves do not apply to them. That the very laws that were designed to rein them in have now freed them to engage in a kind of laissez-faire capitalism and economic approach to human reality. Dr. Uri?
Yeah, let me give you 3 quick numbers. Maybe I can pull this thread through this fabric. 1600, 1776, and 1. 1600 violators of law on January 6th in one fell swoop get pardoned. Then you get 1776, as in $1.776 billion of a government set aside around private interests with public fare, even though it was a test to see if we can pay people to become loyal to us because we could make all 1,600 of them millionaires and still have money left over. But for there being a pushback in the optics of trying to confirm one attorney general, supposedly that fund is defunct. But that's not the one I'm talking about. The one is the one who negotiated the deal in the first place. He's still in office. He's still negotiating. And the masses on the other side of 1600, 1776 and 1, that's us. We still have to stay engaged because if we take our eye off of what's happening, we're going to get hustled with our permission. And at that point, we become as much to blame for our predicament as the oppressor.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. We're in the politics of our faith with Reverend Dr. Todd Yeary. More when we come forward right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
Women's Leadership Project is a Black feminist mentoring, civic engagement, and advocacy program. We have rallied, marched, and disrupted in front of the unaccountable Marquise Harris Dawson's office for several years now. We have gone down to City Council and City Hall and spoken truth to power to try and get resources and protection and funding for Black girls and Black women in this city who are only 4.3% of the population in this community, yet we are disproportionately victimized by sex trafficking, sex violence, domestic violence, and intimate partner violence. We have met numerous times with the unaccountable MIA trifling Marquise and his deputies, and he has turned tail and run. We have tried to meet and give a proposal to Destination Crenshaw to step up and hold space and provide protections for our youth in the Crenshaw district area, because there are no safe youth spaces in City Council District 8 in the Crenshaw corridor.
Holding them accountable. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Don't let heartburn ruin your day. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. When that burning feeling comes on strong, stop, drop, and fizz your way to quick relief with Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief. Nothing works faster to help calm heartburn, so you can get back to the moments that matter most. Alka-Seltzer begins neutralizing acid in seconds. Try Alka-Seltzer for fast heartburn relief, because life doesn't stop, and neither should you.
Quick, Alka-Seltzer.
Use as directed.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580. Your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The BLM Center for Black Power is a hub for Black activism in the city of Los Angeles, a standalone nonprofit affiliated with Black Lives Matter LA. The venue is home to live events, meetings, and organizing drives for Black-led community-based organizations. It is also the base of operations for Black Lives Matter LA. Built on what used to be a nuisance property owned by an arms dealer, the BLM Center for Black Power is in the heart of Leimert Park and has opened its doors to everything from youth organizers to toy drives to film screenings and community town hall meetings. To make a donation or make a request, please visit blmla.org. That's blmla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Roger and Tracy saved over $18,400. Cynthia was recovering from a family tragedy and saved over $10,300. If you are drowning in debt, then call Debt Blue. Debt Blue is a professional debt negotiation firm with over 20 years of experience helping people pay back a fraction of what they owe. Learn how to cut your debt up to half or maybe more. Be debt-free in 24 to 48 months, even with bad credit. With an A+ rating from the BBB, you can rest easy knowing Debt Blue is going to deliver guaranteed debt reduction. Debt Blue offers a success guarantee. You pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved. That's right. You save money or it's free. Call now for significant debt relief and a free consultation. 800-200-8879. That's 1-800-200-8879. You don't have to declare bankruptcy. This program works if you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in debt. Call for your free consultation today. 800-200-8879. That's 800-200-8879.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Our very special regular contributor, The Politics of Our Faith, with Dr. Todd Yeary. Dr. Yeary is the principal of the Yeary Firm, a Maryland-based litigation and government relations firm, and also serves as the senior pastor of the Douglas Memorial Community Church of Baltimore and affiliates. Dr. Yeary, are your services broadcast on social media every Sunday?
Now you want to get all out in the public square about the public conversations. Social media is an interesting tool. So there are services that are on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube. Now, those are pre-recorded services. Because the reality of the world changes in real time, what you might get if you're sitting in the pew may sound a bit different than what you get in terms of the broadcast service. And that's out of necessity, because I have to be ready to speak to the urgency of the moment, even when that moment changes.
I just want to make sure we're in a position to be able to support you. How can we support your work and your ministry, Pastor?
First of all, pray, because out in these streets, these dragons are real, right? But if you want to support the work that I try to do, not just in terms of Sunday morning, but Monday through Saturday, is you can help me by helping yourself. If you're not registered, register. If you are registered, verify your registration. I don't care where you live. I don't care how confident you are that the records have not changed. And then I want you to participate in the process of educating yourself so that you can be an empowered participant in our process. That makes this work easier for me. And here's why, because I can then go to the elected officials when I am advocating for policy, and I can say, look, based on the performance, same thing they do when they decide who the legislation they're going to support. Look at all of these folks who are fully engaged in watching what's going on, and they're not going to take no for an answer. So if you want to support me, start there. I'll be able to see the effect and the impact. And then if you want to check me out, you can find me Civil Rights Rev on all of the social media platforms. And if you're in Baltimore, swing by the corner of Lafayette and Madison. And you may see something that's a little bit different than what you see on social media, but I'll let you be the deciders of that.
Dr. Yeary, I appreciate that very much. I think you might be the first humble pastor on our program who's not giving you a cash app, shared with us how to financially support your efforts. But we are so grateful for your leadership and for your stewardship and for the advice and counsel that you give us. Let me ask a final question before your word of hope. We talked about 6 campaigns across the country that took place yesterday, and we are settled or unsettled in some areas with respect to the nation's mood. But if I'm on the 405, the 101, the 5, the 10, the 118, or the 110 in California, I got my own 2 senators, I got my own governor, I got my own mayor. Why should I care about 12 senators in 6 other states, as well as the cadre of congressmen that they send to the election? Why should I care about what happened on Tuesday if I'm on the 5 or the 101?
Here's why. Because if you don't pay attention and the outcomes of those races basically render your 2 senators, your elected congressperson, to be literally impotent to advance your interest, it's because you didn't recognize that this is a math problem. The only reason you have 2 is because that's the way the rules are set. But it doesn't mean that you can only support two. You can just only vote for those who fall within the purview of where your vote reaches. Your voice is bigger than the territory and the terrain in which you live. They want you to believe that that's the constraint under which you operate. But no, no, no. You have relationships, friendships, family members, near and far, who also have their own voices. And when all of the members of the choir show up for rehearsal, then they know we about to have church up in here and the game's about to change.
Dr. Yuri, a word of hope, our final minute and a half.
Don't miss Bible study. Here's the Bible study lesson for the evening. Listen, across the nation, people have gone to the polls. Some are rejoicing the outcome, some are disappointed. Recent primaries clarify who the nominees are. That's how the process works. But we got to remember our mandate is bigger than sound bites and news articles. Let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. And so we're called to care about what happens, to your point, Jesse, about the public square, because real people are affected by these public decisions. Poor people, workers, immigrants, the elderly, children. And so our faith does not require silence in the face of injustice. Our faith requires that we speak up, speak out, speak loudly, and act without hatred and without contempt and without surrendering our souls to fear. So let's step up and remember the God who created us is not shaken. Our civic participation matters, and hope is an act of faith. And that's why we participate in this process. Go do what you do and do it well.
Thank you, Dr. Yuri.
Always good to be with you, my brother.
You've been listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580, the politics of our faith, every Wednesday with Reverend Dr. S. Todd Yuri, Esquire, 1 foot in the pulpit and 1 foot in the courtroom. A great man, a great leader with a bunch of great advice. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward.